So yesterday we started our discussion regarding how a contract is formed. So basically we discussed about some types of contract. So a contract can be formed between two parties by stating everything explicitly, or they may be implied in fact, like through someone's behavior or a conduct. It is supposed that they are in some contract. Quasi contract, which is implied in law. Next, we discussed about bilateral and unilateral. Bilateral contract are those contract like which basically formed by mutual exchanges of promises. So one party promises to another party in exchange for other promise. Unilateral contract when a promise is exchanged for performance. Then we discussed about executed or executory contract. Executed means that those contracts that are fully performed. All the obligations are satisfied. Executory, like which is a still pending obligation are there. The contract is not fully formed. It is called executory contract. Next are valid, voidable and unenforceable. So when a contract becomes valid or when a contract becomes voidable or unforeseeable. So valid means like it is legal under the law, all the elements are satisfied and contract can be enforceable. Void means the contract which has some illegal purpose, like there is no legal representation of the contract, that means it cannot be executed, or like if it is executed it will become void. Voidable means the contract which can be voided by any of the party, like any of the party can escape any time from the contract because of some reason, like some one minor is involved in the contract or someone has make the contract by using some threat and some illegal activities. Okay, so contract, how contract is formed. So basically, your laws that govern these requirements, first is common law. So common law basically applies to the contract which are associated with some real estate, services, employment, contract and insurance. Whereas your UCC Article 2nd, sale of good, it is related to some tangible and movable goods. Okay. So today we will discuss how a contract is formed first under common law. Everything in detail. Any doubt till here?
No,
No.
ma'am.
Okay. So first of all, what are the basic element that is required to form a contract? So some you are making contract with someone. So what are the basic element that you need? So first of all, there should be some offer between the parties. Okay, there should be some offer that is made by one party to the other. Okay, someone has made an offer. Now, second thing is required to come in contract, that is acceptance. One has made the offer and both the parties should agree to that offer in order to have some contract. Consideration means there should be something of value that is exchanged between the parties. Legal capacity means when you are making the contract, ensure that party must have some capacity to perform the contract. There should be some legal purpose. There should be some mutual assent, like some both the parties have same state of mind, like they should agree to the same thing, same offer, and there should be some proper form. So first of all, we talk about offer. So what is an offer? So offer is basically a proposal that is made by offerer to the offeree. A willingness to enter into the contract with the offeree, it is called the offer. When we talk about offer, what should we have in the offer? So when someone made you an offer about something, so to a valid offer, there should be some definite terms that may be applied. Okay, like what is the purpose of the offer, what is the price that is to be paid, nature of the subject matter, quantity involved, and time for performance. Okay, so offer should be proper. Everything should be mentioned in that offer, like what is the nature of the product, what is their price, what is their quantity, and what is the time for the performance. Must show intent to enter a binding agreement. Means there should be some intent to make the offer or contract. Like not something that you are making in some joke. Okay, there should be some intent that if someone is making an offer, that person should make this statement clearly, not something that is like offered in terms of some joke or anger. Okay, offer should be communicated to the offering. So in order to be a valid offer, these terms should be communicated to the other person. Okay, it should be delivered via mail, via oral communication, via some written communication. Okay, is it clear about the offer? Okay. S- Is it clear or any doubt?
Clear,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay. So next thing, if we talk about the offer, uh, it should be mentioned in your book that there are some cases like which can terminate an offer. Okay, so since an offer is not always for unlimited period of time, like someone can accept it anytime if they want, but instead there may be some expiration date, like there may be some deadline that you have to accept this offer up to this date, otherwise it will become elapse, it will expire. Okay, so an offer can be terminated due to many reasons. First is like if the expiration date like goes out. Second thing, if the other party can revoke the offer. Okay, a party A gives an offer, but the party B refuses that offer. That means the offer becomes terminated. Okay, or there may be some counter offer. For example, A offered to sell a car to B for 5,000, but B is not agree with the A for $5,000. Instead, he is asking to give him that car for $4,000. So that means terms of the offer becomes new. So this is called the counter offer. That means this is not now an original offer. It now instead becomes a counter offer. Okay. Offer can also be terminated in operation of law. Like A has made an offer to B, but before acceptance of B, A dies. So that means this offer now becomes terminated. Or A offered to sell a car to B, but that car before selling got damaged due to some reason. Okay, so that means there is some destruction of subject matter. So due to which the offer becomes terminated. Okay, or A offered to sell a car to B, but that car was have something illegal purpose, uh, does not have like proper paper or and all. So that means when there is some illegal matter that is associated with your good or your subject matter, then in that case the all offer automatically terminate. Okay, so repeating it again, offer something one party offer to the other party. So this offer may be either accepted by other party or may be rejected by other party, or maybe there may be some changes. Okay, so if the other party accept that offer, that is okay. But if the other party doesn't accept the offer, that offer becomes rejected. Or the expiration date, the deadline date goes out. That means after that date, the offer automatically becomes terminated. Or offer terms may be changed, due to which the offer now becomes a counter offer. Or offer can also be automatically terminated in operation of law, like if the any of the party dies before accepting the offer, or there may be impossibility or destruction of subject matter. Okay, for example, offered to sell a car to B, but that car got damaged due to some fire, due to some natural disaster. So that means the subject matter got destroyed and the offer automatically terminates. And if the subject matter involves some illegal matter, in that case also the offer automatically terminates. So is it clear about the offer? Is it clear? So how a offer can expire, how a offer can revocate, how a offer can rejected, how a offer can counter offer becomes counter offer, how it is automatically terminates due to operations of law. Any doubt?
No.
Okay. So this is an offer that is made by one party to the other. Next is acceptance. Acceptance means when this party is like accepting that offer, it is agreeing to the conditions that is conditions or terms that is associated with an offer. So how does an acceptance may be done? So unconditional agreement to all terms of the offer. Okay, so in order to be offer to be accepted, there should be no new conditions. Okay, otherwise it will become a counter offer. So unconditional agreement should be there, must mirror the offer. Mirror means you have to accept all the terms that is associated with an offer without any alteration. Okay, so if you are doing any alteration to the offer, that offer becomes the counter offer, not the original offer. Is it clear? Also, that acceptance should be by some authorized means. Okay, if nothing is mentioned, then any acceptance will be okay. But if it is specifically mentioned in the offer that you have to accept this offer by mail or by written by or some other means, then acceptable means should be there to accept that offer. Okay, so if the offer mentioned that you have to accept this by a mail, but you are instead accepting by doing some phone call or by doing some fixed message, then in that case, if the offer is accepted by some other means, it will become a counter offer. Okay, so is it clear? Second, acceptance, that means you are accepting all the conditions of the offer without any alteration. If you are making any alteration, then it will become counter offer. Third thing, if you are accepting by some other means, Like if it is mentioned that you have to accept by mail, but you are accepting by doing some phone call or some other means, then different means will become a counter offer. So is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So third thing, early acceptance rule. Early acceptance rule means you have to accept the offer. Like your offer will only become effective, your acceptance only become effective when transmitted or dispatched. Means a valid acceptance is only effective if the offerer never receive it due to an error by the delivery services. So early acceptance should be there. For example, like if you are making an offer on first date, and it is received by the offeree like on second date, okay, or suppose same day you are making an offer on first, and uh, the expiration date is 9. So if you are accepting it before expiration, only then it become valid. Second thing, if you are making the offer on first, but you are revoking it on fifth, so if the other party have accepted it before fifth, then only it will become acceptable. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Early acceptance rule. Okay. Next thing, like if you have made this offer on first, but you have sent your rejection on fourth, and this rejection suppose it is received by other party on fifth. So that means you have rejected the offer. But if you want that you first reject the offer, then you realize that it is good for you and you are now accepting that offer. So the acceptance will be valid if the acceptance will be before received of rejection. So if the rejection is received on fifth, but you are giving your acceptance on fourth by some fast means, then your offer will become valid, your acceptance will become valid. Otherwise rejection would be there. That means earlier of whichever is received by the other party, it will become effective. Okay, so if acceptance is received earlier, that means offer is accepted. But if rejection is received earlier, that means offer will be rejected. Okay. And if the offer is terminated, okay, like some expiration date goes out or something other, offer is already terminated, and you are uh, giving your acceptance after termination, then in that case it also becomes a counter offer. Any doubt?
No.
Okay, next thing is consideration. Consideration means like there should be some value which is exchanged between two parties. So it can be money, it can be goods, it can be services, or it can be a promise. Okay, that means consideration should be of value, something monetary amount, or it should be legally sufficient in order to make an offer valid. Okay, so if the one party only has obligation, that means the contract is not valid. Like someone is uh, doing some services, someone is providing some good, but he is not getting anything in exchange, that means it is not a um, valid offer, because only one party has the obligation here. Okay, so consideration can take different forms like paying money or lending money. transferring property, rendering services, or you are waiving the right to take certain action like covenant not to compete, like someone is doing something for you and you are exchanging it for a promise that he will not covenant to compete with you. Okay, so there should be something of value. If consideration do not have monetary value, or consideration need not flow to one of the parties, like there will be some third party beneficiary is involved. For example, a is giving uh, A is giving money to the B to provide services to the C. So if a third party beneficiary is involved, then also there will be considered not valid consideration. Okay, or consideration need not to be adequate or of equal value. Consideration must be bargained for. There is no evaluation of the size or fairness of the consideration offer, as it is assumed that consideration is fair and is resulted from bargain between two parties. Okay. One more thing about consideration, like uh, if you are making some past consideration, that is not considered a valid consideration. Okay, like some action have been taken before the contract was formed. So suppose a company like agrees to give some bonus which is effective from certain date, but if someone has performed their services earlier, that means they will be not eligible for this offer, this bonus. Okay, so past consideration should not be a valid consideration. One more thing, like if someone is doing his services, like if someone is providing his services due to pre-existing legal duty, that is also not considered a consideration. Like for example, someone's vehicle, someone's pet is uh, stolen, or someone vehicles is stolen and is find out by some policemen. So that means there is not a valid obligation for you to pay to the policeman, because they already have this pre-existing duty, that they have legal duty to do search for your stolen things. Okay, so that means if someone has already pre-existing legal duty, uh, in that case there should be no need of consideration. Okay, is it clear?
Yes.
Also, if you want to make some modification related to consideration, but that consideration or that modification should be agreed to the both side. Okay, it should have mutual decision to increase your consideration. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear? Next is legal capacity. Legal capacity means the party must have capacity. Like if you are making an offer to someone, that party should have sufficient capacity to accept that offer. That means if you are making any offer to minor people, means who do not have proper understanding of this contract, that means they do not have proper capacity and that offer will lack the legal purpose. Okay, So if someone is making any contract with minor people, means people means uh, s- people who are actually below the age of 18. So if someone is making an contract to minor, then that contract will become voidable. Okay, because it have lack of legal capacity. Or you are making an offer to someone who is mentally incapacitated, like who is mentally affected, or who is not in a condition to understand everything, like his state of mind is not well. So in that case your offer will not become valid, it can be voidable by the party. Okay, any of the any of the party can exchange can escape from that contract because it lack legal capacity. Okay, next thing, if someone has made an offer, someone has made an contract when they are not in conscious state of mind, like someone has made the contract after becoming, after drinking too much. Okay, so if someone is intoxicated, someone is like has consumed anything due to which his state of mind is not proper, he is not conscious, so in that case your offer also lack legal capacity. But consider one thing, that in order to consider this contract to be voidable due to intoxicated, the intoxication amount like should be proper, like there is some limit. Like if someone has consumed alcohol, so there is some limit above which they are considered as intoxicated. Like if someone has consumed only a little, like they are proper, they have proper consciousness, then in that case it is not considered that you the contract have lack of legal capacity. Is it clear? Incompetent people are also included, like if someone has made the contract with someone who is not competent enough to understand the offer, so that contract will also lack the legal capacity. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so next is legal purpose. So in order to a contract to be valid, it should have legal purpose. Okay, so if the contract is something about things, something about illegal purpose, then the contract will not become a valid contract. Like someone is making a contract to sell illegal drug, so the contract will become void. Okay, so if your subject matter is illegal, then in that case the contract becomes illegal. Next is mutual assent, means both parties must agree to the same terms. So the contract to be a valid one, both the parties should agree to the terms of the contract. Like they should have agree to same thing, same meeting of mind, typically shown through offer plus acceptance. Okay. Next is proper form. Proper form means the contract should be in proper form, because there are certain limitations, like certain stages of fraud which require a contract to be in written form in order to be valid. Okay, so some contract require a written agreement. So in those case, the contract will be valid only when there will be some written agreement. For example, real estate sale agreement must be written. So stages of fraud generally involve your goods if they are above $500, if there is something related to real estate, or if something if the contract is required over 1 year, like it takes period more than 1 year, then it should be in written form. If someone is guaranteeing some depth of another, then in that case there should be some written form. Okay, so there are certain cases in which contract require to be valid if they have some written agreement. Okay. Okay, so example scenario: A agree to sell B, a laptop to B for $40,000. Okay, A is making an offer to B to sell an laptop in exchange for $40,000. B accepted the offer and promises to pay the amount on delivery. A promised to deliver the laptop within 2 days. So if we consider various elements involved in this contract, so first is offer. Offer is made by A to the B. So what is the offer? To sell the laptop. Acceptance. Acceptance is by B. So when B accepting the offer, so B's agreement will be considered as a valid acceptance. Consideration. So if we consider the amount, $40,000 is the consideration in exchange for the laptop. Legal capacity means, like, in order to be valid contract, A and B should have legal capacity, means they should be major, they should be adult one, not minor one. Okay, they should not be intoxicated, they should not be incompetent. Next thing, there is legal purpose for the contract. So since it is a sale of good, it is lawful. So it will be considered as a valid contract. Mutual assent. Both the parties should agree to the terms. Proper form. That means if the contract require written means, then there should be written contract. Otherwise, if writing is not required, then oral communication will be okay. So is it clear about contract? Is it clear? Next thing, defenses in contract law. So what are the defenses that can be available in order for a party to escape from that contract? Like if someone do not want to execute the contract, they are escaping from the contract, then uh, there are some defenses that they can use to escape from contract. So first is lack of capacity. So lack of capacity means if someone is a minor, if someone is intoxicated at the time of contract, or if someone is mentally unstable, then he can escape from the contract, and that will be okay also because it lacks lack of capacity. So a party must have legal capacity to to enter a binding contract. But if someone is minor, mentally incompetent person or intoxicated person, so these people can escape from the contract and use this lack of capacity as their defense. So for example, if this uh, A is agreed to sell to B for $40,000, and suppose the B was a minor one, then then B can escape from the contract by using the lack of capacity defense. Okay. Or your seller is some minor one, so he can also escape from the contract. Next is illegality. Illegality means the subject matter is illegal. So in that case, your contract can become void. Okay, means cannot be enforced by either party. No party, if uh, if willing to execute, they're not able to execute the contract because the subject matter is illegal. Okay, so a contract to gamble illegally is void. A contract to sell drugs, a contract to sell something which is illegal, so it automatically becomes void even if you want to execute it. Okay. Next is fraud. Fraud means like if you are doing some contract for some fraud purpose, then in that case the contract becomes voidable. So fraud becomes a contract voidable. So if a party enters into a contract without being aware of it as a result of some fraud, so that party can escape from the contract, or that contract will automatically become void because fraud is involved. Okay. So for example, someone has taken a sign of other party on the contract by even not telling them or by using some unauthorized means. So in that case, it is considered as fraud and the contract becomes voidable. Okay. So if the fraud is in execution, like if someone is doing fraud in executing the contract, then it is become void, means either party will not able to execute it. Fraud in the inducement, like if someone has entered into the contract by doing fraud. Okay, like someone has taken your signs by even by doing some wrong things. So fraud in the inducement, it will consider as voidable, means one of the party can escape from contract. Okay. Void means either of the party will not able to execute the contract because that contract will become void. Voidable means can be void by any of the party. Is it clear or any doubt? Any doubt? Next is innocent misrepresentation. So innocent misrepresentation means like some if there is some mistake in the contract but that is unintentionally. So it is considered as innocent misrepresentation, and due to this innocent misrepresentation, the contract can be voidable by any of the party. Okay. So for example, if someone has like gave you an offer to sell something at $500, like someone has written in the contract that he will sell a good to you for $500, but that good actually value about five $50,000. So because of their unintentional mistake, like if due to some printing mistake, it will be considered as innocent misrepresentation, and either of any of the party can escape by using this defense. Okay. So seller mistakenly represent an item as gold. So someone has agreed to sell you certain item which is they thought it was gold but it was actually a brass. So in that case the contract can be voidable. Next is duress. Duress means if someone has entered into a contract uh, by using some threat or by using some violation, in that case it is considered as duress. Duress, it can be by some improper threat by other party. Okay. It can be physical duress, like someone has put a gun on you, or someone is harming you physically just to enter into that contract. So it is considered as physical duress. Economic duress also, like someone is economically threatening you to make that contract, so that contract will also become voidable. Okay. Like someone is forcing you to sign some contract, otherwise they will fire you from job. So this is called duress. Like someone is entering into a contract by doing improper threat. Okay. Undue influence means extreme duress. Unfair persuasion or due to some special relationship make a contract voidable. So if someone is violating or abusing a relationship of trust or confidence, wherein one party is like entering into the contract because they trusted the other party due to their relationship, so it is considered as undue influence. Okay, so someone is like entering into some partnership based on that company's financial forecast. So just by looking their forecast, they are entering into the contract, but the forecast were actually illegal one, were actually not the correct one. So that is considered the undue influence. So in case of duress, undue influence, innocent misrepresentation, fraud, the contract can become void or voidable. Next is mutual mistake. Like if both the parties have mistake something material, then in that case the contract become voidable. So for example, both party believe a painting is authentic, but it is not. So if the both parties have some taken something mistakenly, so in that case the contract become voidable. Okay. Next is unilateral mistake. Unilateral mistake means like if one party has done some mistake in the contract, so in that case the contract becomes unvalid or invalid, sorry, or it becomes valid unless the other party knew of the mistake is obvious or clerical error. Like I give you an example that someone has agreed to sell you something at $500, but they do not know their actual value and it was actually $50,000. So the mistake is obvious. Like the good is highly luxurious. So in this case, if the mistake is obvious or like there is some printing mistake, so due to which the contract becomes invalid. Okay. But if someone has making the mistake of immaterial amount, then in that case the contract can be enforceable. Next is stages of fraud. Stages of fraud require that some contract should be in written. So if those contract is not in written form, then the party can escape from that contract. So first is marriage. So if someone has entered into contract in consideration of some marriage, like if someone marries this girl, then he will be like someone is giving you some condition that if you marry this one, this guy or this girl, then he will make you the vice president of the company. Okay, so if the contract is in consideration of marriage, like if someone marries the other, then in that case the contract will be enforceable. So it should be in written form. Second, when the contract is for more than 1 year. Okay, when the terms of contract say that the duration is for more than 1 year, then in that case the contract should be in written form. Land, like if the contract is related to real estate, then in that case contract should be in written form. Executor promises means like if executor of an estate contract to pay a debt of estate with his own money. So this is called executor promises, and these kind of promises or contract should be in written form. If you are selling any goods which are over the value, $500 or more, then in that case the contract should be in written form. Surety shift means if you are guaranteeing some debt of another. Okay, so you are taking the responsibility for debt of another person, then in that case the contract should be in written form. Is it clear? Next is impossibility in practicability. So performance become impossible due to unforeseen events. So as I told you, when the contract automatically become terminated in operation of law. So for example, in case of destruction of subject matter. So if your subject matter is destroyed before the acceptance of the contract or before the completion of the contract, in that case the contract become impossible to perform. Unconscionability, the contract is so unfair that the court refuses to enforce it. So in that case, your contract become void or voidable. Failure of consideration. So if the promised consideration is not delivered, okay. So someone has given you the promise that he will pay you $500 if you provide these goods. But if they fail to provide that consideration, then in that case, your contract will become voidable. Like you has the right that you can escape from that contract. So if we summarize it, then in case of illegality, fraud in execution, mental incompetence, physical duress, the contract will be considered as void. Void means either of the party will not able to execute it. But if there is fraud in inducement, misrepresentation of some information, lack of incapacity, undue influence, mutual mistake, unilateral mistake, stages of fraud, in that case the contract can be voidable. Like any of the party if want, they can escape from the contract by using these defenses. Okay, any doubt? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
So next is remedies. Remedies that can be available for a contract. First is monetary damages. So in case of any monetary damages, so what are the various remedies that is available? So compensatory damages means like if someone has suffered the loss because of you, then you can compensate them. Consequential damages means foreseeable damages due to breach. Okay. So if the contract is breached by someone, then what can be possible damages that can be associated? Punitive damages, like rare in contract law, available only when tort involved. Okay, if someone is injured because of the contract. Liquidated damages, unenforceable if reasonable and is not a penalty.
अभी ये किस तरह घूम रही थी ये तो नहीं है सीधे ऐसी लगी
Next is specific performance. Court order a party to perform the contractual obligation. Like you can discharge from the contract by performing the specific performance. Like if court has given you some obligation that you have to perform this only, then you can discharge from this contract. Used when goods are unique, not available for personal services contract. Okay. Next is rescission. Contract is cancelled and parties return to pre-contract position. So means the parties are restored to their original position. In that case, The contract will you can discharge from that contract. Available when it is formed under fraud, misrepresentation, duress, undue influence. Re-performance means court rewrite contract to reflect true intent of the parties. Okay, so if the contract is rewritten by the court, in that case, you can discharge from the original contract used when mistake or ambiguity exist. Quasi contract or restitution prevent unjust enrichment. So, as I told you, when these contracts are formed as a result of some law, so that one party do not get the benefit on the expense of other parties. So these are called quasi contract. Contract court may order some payment for benefit conflict. Right. Okay. So these are related to the contract which are formed under the common law. So how a contract is formed, how it can be escape, become void or voidable, or how it can be terminated, or how it can be discharged by the, how it can discharge the party from the contract. Any doubt?
Understood, ma'am.
Okay. So we will discuss our UCC contract tomorrow. The contract which are formed under UCC Act. Okay. Thank you for joining. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.